You ready for your next comedian? He is an amazing, amazing guy. He is a film producer. He is an author. He is a speaker. He is a CEO. He is a founder. He is Mr. Peter Verlezza! Matt sweated on my set list. Hello, everyone. Peter Verlezza here. How are you tonight? Thank you for being here. Broadway, New York City, Caroline's Comedy Club. How cool is that?
Very cool.
Hamilton, right down the street. For some reason, I don't think Hamilton is playing in the basement of an old building, but that's just me. So I'm really excited to be here tonight. A lot of different reasons. One of them is I'm a native New Yorker. Beside Matt, I'm the only other person on the stage born here. So I was born in the Bronx. I'm Italian. I like nice clothes. As a result, people always think I'm in the mob. I know I look a little bit like I'm in the mob. Like tonight, standing in front of the club, waiting for it to open, this stranger walks up to me. He hands me an envelope full of money. He's a pretty good earner, too. Why shouldn't I wet my beak? My cousin Carmela found out I was going to be doing this show. She called me and she says, break a leg. Like, break a leg? You have somebody in mind? Does Vinny owe you money again? I don't know why people think I'm in the mob. Talking to some friends a few weeks ago, just having dinner, mentioned that I'm going to be at Caroline's Comedy Club doing this gig. One of the guys says, you know, you're going to do great. You're funny. I'm like, funny? Funny how? What do you mean I'm funny? You said I'm funny. What, do I make you laugh? Am I a clown? Am I here to amuse you? So I had him whacked. So, again, growing up in New York, I used to always want to come to Times Square. I used to beg my father to take me to Times Square. 42nd Street, very different back then. There was no Disney. There were lots of bars and peep shows and hookers, drug dealers. I don't think Walt would have approved of any of them. But I love playing video games. I love going to arcades. So we used to come down here, and they had these big, giant rooms full of games, the hottest games of the day. You could really play anything you want. One of my favorite games was something called Pong. Anybody remember Pong? Pong. Beep, 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 beep. It was a sexy game. Meanwhile, people were wrapped around the corner to play that game. That was back in my day. I do have to refer to my list. So I've always liked to make people laugh. Anybody that knows me knows that I like to make people laugh in real life. That sometimes gets awkward. It's people don't always get my jokes. Sometimes my jokes are wasted on people. It's a little uncomfortable. There was a time I was in the TSA line. TSA, you know, you just go right through. Yeah. I'm in the TSA line, I'm walking, the lady says to me, do you have any metal on you? I say, no, except for the plate in my head. She says, you have a plate in your head too? I'm at the gate, LaGuardia. The gate agent says to me, sir, where are you going today? I said, I'm going to Nashville. And I'd like you to send my bags to Houston, and then Miami, and then have them meet me tomorrow in Nashville. And could you please break off one of the handles too? She's like, sir, we can't do that. What are you talking about? You did it last month. You could do it, I'm telling you. You could do it. There was a time at the UN We worked together when I went to the UN. This was before 9/11. There was still some pretty heavy security back then. I walk into the UN with my briefcase, put it up on the counter. The guy behind the counter says, "What's this hanging out of the back?" I said, "I don't know, it's not a fuse." An hour I was delayed. Boy, was the Rangoon delegation behind me pissed. And I think the chieftain put a curse on me. I'm pretty sure. So I had him whacked. So hopefully tonight will go much better than those things. So I have always wanted to try my hand at organized comedy. I didn't know if I could do it. I don't know if I was afraid. Couldn't figure out how to put a set list together. And then I met Matt. Matt invited me to be part of the CEO and Entrepreneur Stand-Up Challenge.
Yay.
And yay, Matt. Yeah, how about a hand for Matt? My set list is almost dry, so thank you. So Matt really boiled this process down to least common denominator, something that we could really sink our teeth into, learn from, and work with. So as far as I'm concerned, if things go well tonight, because there's a lot of work, if things go well tonight, I am totally taking the credit. If things go poorly and I bomb, it's all his fault. Come to think of it, he may want to have somebody else start his car. Because then he will know the true meaning of bombing. So one of the ideas that Matt came up with, he presented to us was, this is not a bunch of one-line jokes, obviously. You got to put a whole set together. He said the easiest way to put a set together is to come up with thoughts and ideas and life experiences, things that piss you off, things that kind of make you crazy. Just write them down and we'll work through it. So I'm on a flight from Orlando a couple months ago, and I had an opportunity to do that. So I take out my iPad. It's dead. Look for paper. Can't find any. So what do? Reach into the seat back pocket in front of me. Where is it? And I pull out a barf bag. And I begin to write my notes on a barf bag. So here I sit there, tray table down, barf bag in hand, and I'm writing notes. I'm surprised the air marshal didn't just shoot me. He must have thought I was writing ransom demands or a manifesto or something. It's a crazy different world that we live in. So when I was a kid, we used to stay out until the lights came on. Anybody out until the street lights came on?
Yes.
Fun thing to do. We never wore helmets when we rode our bicycles. We left the house before our parents woke up. We seldom went home. Even if we got hurt or mugged, we wouldn't go home. I mean, I fell off my bike and dislocated my shoulder. I popped it back in place. Boom, I was out playing again. Today it's not like that. Today, kids are like cats. They stay in the house all day. They're playing on their smartphone. They're playing on their iPads. They're playing video games to all hours of the morning. They're texting. They're Instagramming. They're Snapchatting. It's enough to make you crazy. And today, you get an award for participation. There's no winners and losers. When I was a kid, everybody wasn't a winner. We didn't have that mentality. We knew who the losers were, and we took every opportunity to point it out. God forbid you were born with a big nose or some other facial anomaly. You were forever known as Johnny Big Nose or Jimmy Nostrils. You gotta love Italians. We are the best at self-deprecating other people. But it was New York. You had to be tough. You never knew when someone was going to come around the corner and beat the crap out of you. And that was just the nuns at my Catholic school. It was a tough place. We used to call it, sister, hit 'em hard and hit 'em low. I'm lucky I made it out of that place alive, let me tell you. So, I'm married. I know. So, thank you. I really don't know why even that needs applause. I'm married and my wife is here. My wife is Jewish. So, Jewish people and the Italian people, we have a lot in common. Family is very important. Tradition is important. Giving back to the community, extremely important. But the biggest thing we have in common is guilt. We invented guilt. Jewish people perfected it. How many of you are Catholic? You ever been to confession? Every Saturday morning I used to go to the penalty box. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. What sins did you commit this week? You have my list from last week, Father? I got to add a few things to it. I figure it was just easier to keep a tab with the guy. So the Jews have got a winner with this one, too. Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year. Like all Jewish holidays, no one knows when Yom Kippur is. We, as Christians, know that Christmas is December 25th. The Jews, they roll some dice, they spin a wheel, and then they decide when Yom Kippur is. And then all of a sudden, it's the day, and the whole Jewish world stops. You can't play, you can't shop, you can't work. The only thing you can do is atone and repent and fast for 25 hours. It can't even be 24 hours. It's got to be 25 hours. I'm Italian. I don't fast. Even if I was in a coma, I'd have somebody cut up sausage and peppers into little pieces and put it into my feeding tube. But out of respect for my wife, I said that I would fast. I would fast between breakfast and lunch. And then again between lunch and dinner. Now I had an issue with this. At about 3:30, I didn't know if I was going to make it. So I sniffed a cannoli, and I was good. I was just fine. So when I was young, everything was fair game. You could say anything about anyone, anytime. Today, we can't say anything about anyone. We are so politically correct. I can only imagine 10 years from now, a comic coming up on this stage. They'd have to mime their whole act. They'd be like, you can't say anything. So, I gotta refer back. I'm making myself laugh. So, 10 years from now, there aren't going to be any genders. No genders. You're going to go up to the bathroom. The sign in the bathroom door is going to say, whatever, just do it. And to what end? We're all going to be sitting in the bathroom together in stalls next to each other? Aren't we all losing at that point? I am looking forward to the bathrooms of the future. Yes, everyone's sitting in a stall. Everyone's taking a crap together. And C3PO is the bathroom attendant. We'll start getting some good customer service at that time. In the future, robots will be serving us our coffee, serving us our fake burgers. That's something new. I don't get that. They'll be bringing mints to our hotel room. They'll be making up our beds. Good customer service. Customer service and common courtesies mean a lot to me. In my 62 years, I learned that people just want to be communicated to in ways that are appropriate to them. They just want to be communicated to in their way. I have a podcast. My podcast is called Touching People in Appropriate Ways. Let that sink in for a minute. That's the only thing I've said that is actually true. And I'm not talking about in a Joe Biden kind of way. Uncle Joe got a little too touchy-feely. In my touching people world, there is no physical touching. It is learning how to know who your audience is, connect to them, and then communicate with them in ways that are appropriate to them. So, again, some of the things that make me nutty are courtesies. So I'll go into a donut shop, I'll ask for my regular order, say, can I have a cup of coffee? Person hands me the cup of coffee. I say, thank you. What do they say? No worries. It's all good. I'm like, what the hell is no worries? It's all good. I know it's no worries. I know it's all good. You got coffee. I got money. Can't we just make this deal? It's enough to make you crazy. A few weeks ago, I'm at a restaurant. See a couple walking down the sidewalk behind me. I go to the door, I hold it open. They walk, they go right past me. No eye contact, no please and thank you, no acknowledgement that I was there. So I had them whacked. I don't know why people think I'm in the mob. Peter Verlezza, thank you very much.